Greetings, I'm Kali Ross with In Pursuit of Purity. It is my desire to learn as much as I can about chocolate and the chocolate industry. I would love to share the experience with you, so I hope you enjoy these videos.
Well, greetings, viewers. I am so grateful to have this opportunity to be joined with Janet Straub with Creo Chocolate in Portland, Oregon. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. This is going to be really fun. Looking forward to it.
Well, I had just shared with Janet that my introduction to Creo was the result of having the opportunity to do a tour at their shop. And for those individuals who are not familiar with Creo, I wanted to have people have an opportunity to learn about Creo. So Janet, please share with us tell us about the name Creo. What does that mean? And some background about what got you started in the chocolate industry.
Sure. Well, the name Creo, which is really hard to come up with a name that really describes who you are, who we are, and the whole thing. But in Spanish, it means I believe, and in Latin, to create or to make. And that was really kind of the essence of what we felt we wanted our company to go. So what we basically believe in is creating something that we can make a difference with. So we try to make a difference by making real chocolate and relationships and change by being involved in our community and in ways that we can help change. And what inspired us to go that direction, our family has always loved making food, having hospitality and having people into our home. And we're also farmers. So we farmed raspberries and strawberries in Ridgefield, Washington. So it's about half an hour north of Portland. And we did that for 17 years with our 8 children and loved just having that connection with the land, but also with the people around, the other growers. And so we started investigating chocolate because we love chocolate. And it just crossed right over when we discovered that chocolate actually comes from the bean, the cacao bean, and that was intriguing. So, farmers and the whole thing, it just made this connection. So we went to Ecuador, met some farmers, and we had a real connection there. And so it just kind of fit into a lifestyle. We were at a place in our lives where we had to decide what we wanted to do. We were going to get out of farming at this point, and this was one of the avenues, and we thought, wow, there's not that many actual chocolate makers in Portland, and let's see how we could do to serve our community and be a part of bringing good food to the city. So that's what we did.
What a tasty way to contribute.
Yeah.
Janet, how long has Creo been in operation?
About 6 years.
So over the 6 years, I'm sure you've seen a number of new chocolate companies emerge. Tell me, what is it about Creo that kind of makes you unique and separates you from the other companies?
Well, a big part of what we do is education. So it's naturally just flowed into our business. I homeschooled my 8 children and love teaching and the whole thing. So it's just part of our DNA as a family. So education is a big part of it. You'll see that in our website. We have a lot of links and things to our farmer and educate yourself on what's happening on the farm. And also we're working on some new things right now with our website to make it even more educational. But that's a big part. And then, of course, as you experience the tours, was a part of that. Unfortunately, we can't do those right now, but maybe in the future. Also, the flavor. So I'm going to talk about the beans a little bit later, but the flavor is super important to us. We want something that's going to be enjoyable to everyone as much as we can. And so we work really hard to bring out the best flavors and nuances of the beans that we're working with. The mouthfeel, the way the chocolate feels when it's in your mouth is really important to us. And so we work at making the texture really, really creamy and I can let you guys be the judge of what of different kinds of chocolate and what you think, but we feel like it's just really creamy. I like chocolate to feel like butter when it melts in my mouth. That's really
Mm-hmm.
important to us. Awards, that shows up in, in a lot of what we have on our shelves. Back here are awards, lots of that, and we try to use the least amount of sugar that we can to bring out the best flavor. So those
Mm-hmm.
are a lot of it, but it really comes down to the education, educating people. I love doing these kind of conversations and as much as we can to help people to understand about chocolate.
You had mentioned the beans, and I'm really interested in finding out about this because I hope I say this correctly, but you're using the Ecuadorian Ariba Nacional
Yes,
beans.
yes.
How did you come across the beans, and what was the flavor that attracted you to these
Mm-hmm.
particular beans?
Mm-hmm. Well, when we, like I mentioned before, we took a trip to Ecuador
Mm-hmm.
and we were trying to visit farmers. We visited a lot of farmers and came home with 6 suitcases full of beans from all different places, and then started making chocolate here at home, not at home, but in our space here. And what we were looking for was a mild bean that could be used for a lot of different kinds of inclusions, and I can talk about inclusions later on, but that was kind of the direction we were going. So we wanted a bean that would complement other flavors that we would put together with it. Now, that's not the case with every bean from different places. Some are maybe have more notes that fruity notes or more flowery notes, whatever, but we wanted a mild bean. So that was important. We also were really impressed with this one farm, and the farmers are Samuel and Anita were their names, and they have an heirloom bean. Right now in the world, there's only 17 farms that are certified heirloom, but they go through a long, hard vetting process to go back down to the original, finding the original flavors, the original genetics, if you will. So it's quite a process. But this is one of those. This is actually number 3, the third one that was tested. Wow. And we fell in love with it. Well, not only the farmers, but the beans are very, like I said, mild. They could, the real test to me is if I can eat 100% bar, that's this lovely thing, 100% with absolutely no sugar in it, and it still tastes okay. I mean, it's no sugar, but or you eat the nibs, and they're not like crazy, make you like pucker all up. They're really good, and that was one of the things that we were looking for, was something that would have a pleasant taste, and we felt like this one did.
Given that you sought out a mild bean, when you roast and conch, what is it that you're looking to draw out and have the consumer experience?
We want people to be able to have a pleasant experience always when you eat chocolate.
Sure.
But we use a more medium roast. Now, if you're familiar with coffee roasting, there's light roast, medium, and dark roast. The light roast, and this carries over into chocolate as well. The light roasts tend to bring out more fruity and also some astringency. Okay, and like tannins. Okay, like people enjoy the tannin of wine because it kind of makes your mouth pucker and those feelings. Well, cacao will do the same thing. So in a light roast, you're going to get a lot more of those kind of bright kind of notes, where a medium roast is going to have more of a balance, where a dark roast is going to be more like, but I say this, it really drowns out a lot of the notes, almost more burnt-ish flavors. Does that kind of make sense? Okay, so we want something in the middle, and that was important. That's what we strive for, because we feel like that's going to help people to taste the bars in a pleasant way. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
Those roasts are really important, and going back to your question about different chocolate makers, everyone has their own roasting profile.
Sure.
And so as you go and taste other people's chocolate, you may find that they will have different flavors than what you have with Creo. And that's because more people than not will use more of a light roast because they like those bright notes coming out, the stringencies.
Sure.
And we try to tend more towards the balance, if that makes sense. But it's pretty obvious. There's some companies that are very strong in that, in those kind of notes. And I love it, but it's just not our style. But that's what we will strive for.
So you mentioned, I'm curious now about this because you mentioned that you wanted a bean that you could use for a number of different things. And you mentioned inclusions. Share more about that because I know you have a wide array of inclusions.
Okay, so we started out with 4 bars. And can you believe it? Now we're up to 21. That's because of customer input, a lot of it. So we experiment a lot with ideas and people give us, kind of like, oh, could you ever make a bar with this? And so we'll play around with it. And that's an inclusion, something you add to the chocolate. And we feel like a lot of people enjoy chocolate with something. I mean, I like it plain as well, but that's why we have a 73%, an 85, and 100% bar. But also, there's times when it just tastes good to have it surrounding something interesting like coconut or whatever. So that's what we play around with. Even though we only had 4 bars, it gave us lots of room to play with. And also, we want to bring out good memories. So as people eat it, we want them to conjure up memories that they had, maybe when they were a kid, of a favorite chocolate that they had, or even growing up, something that was interesting to them. So, for instance, I have a spicy bar. Now, the spices I used in it, I wanted not just to be hot, okay, spicy hot. I wanted something that kind of moved with you and gave you an experience. So I played around with the chilies and the ingredients till I came up with something where the heat hits at the end. So as you're enjoying it, it actually tastes, kind of reminds me at least, of like this Christmas gingerbread, warm, kind of feels like that cinnamon. And then at the end, you get this little heat that pops, and it kind of reminds me of New Year's is what I say. It's like that,
I like that.
At New Year's. But it's the idea, or some people get like a mole type of taste to it. But that's what I'm looking to do is make up inclusions that are going to bring back memories, that are going to be a good complement. So we have quite a few. We have a hard time stopping, but we have a lot of fun flavors that we put together. So.
I love that. I love how you're trying to assist people in experiencing those memories again through chocolate, because it's very true. Food has always been associated with celebrations and important events in our lives. So that's really neat. I like that.
Yeah, I enjoy it too. I have another bar I can talk more about later, but it's our strawberry hibiscus. And that one I designed it after I was at a farmer's market, and they were selling a Mexican hibiscus tea called Jamaica. I loved it. So I said, okay, what would happen if I took hibiscus and added it to my white chocolate? And there we go. I have this beautiful bar, and it's purple, and it's pungent and tart and floral, and it's lovely. So that's kind of the things that go through my mind. Always trying and experimenting. Some don't work, but the ones that work become favorites to people here. So.
Yeah, I can only imagine how fun it must be, the experimental process. You have these ideas of what would be, great combinations. And I don't know if this is something that you're able to talk about at this point. Do you have any specific ideas for some new bars or new product ideas?
I have some ideas we're working on. We have some things that are in progress. I can't tell all of those, but I will say that one bar that I've been working on has been a lemon, kind of a lemon pepper type of a bar, which is more of a savory direction, and that's one that I'm working on. I haven't quite hit where I want it to be yet, but I'm working on that. But we right now with the pandemic and everything, we're working on upping our education stuff. So our product line is kind of on hold right now. We've got, like I said, 21 bars. That's a lot. So we're trying to kind of stick with that and then working on some other aspects of our company. So.
As far as your customer base, what are your most popular bars?
Well, two that I would say are unique and very, very popular. The first one being our whiskey dark milk chocolate. Now, alcohol and chocolate, that can go a lot of different ways. It could be really strong or not, but we use Westward whiskey, which is made here in Portland. And when we soak the nibs in whiskey, it infuses that flavor into it. So it's not just like a strong whiskey flavor, but it's more complex and interesting. And we sprinkle some mesquite smoked sea salt in the back, so it really pops out some of that flavor of the fruitiness. And that has tended to be one of our most popular bars. Maybe because it says whiskey, I don't know. But it's very complex, and that's the one I carry in my purse, actually. So if you want to know the truth of it. But yeah, I really, really like that one and the complexity. And it's won a lot of awards. It's actually this bar right here. So, and you can see it's won silver in the Americas. It won gold at the Academy of Chocolate in London this year. It's a super popular bar. The other one that's really popular, and it kind of surprised us at first, is our caramelized white. I'm going to show you here. So that's our caramelized white chocolate. Now you can see it's got a different color. It's not like white, and that's because we don't bleach our cocoa butter like it's done in commercially. So this is more the naturally flavor or color of it. And this has become really popular. And what the kind of comments we've got is that it doesn't taste waxy, and people are used to kind of a waxy kind of feel in your mouth with cocoa butter, and it's not like overly sweet. And like I said, we try to balance the sweetness, like I told you before. So a lot of people will say that white chocolate is not really chocolate. But in reality, white chocolate has to have at least 20% cocoa butter in it to be called chocolate. So this is 38%. And then we try to balance. So it's 38% cacao or cocoa butter. Then the milk powder and sugars. That's all that's in this. And it's balanced. So this actually has more cocoa butter in it than anything else. And it's just very surprising because it's not what people expected. It has this beautiful caramely flavor to it. Anyway, that's been a surprise to us on how popular that bar is. And I love it too. So,
well, speaking of love, what bars do you love from your own product line?
Well, that whiskey one I told you is in my purse. So if you're dying for chocolate and I'm there, you can always ask. But I'll tell you one that's really special to me, and that would be my Hope bar. And that's the one I was talking about earlier, is the strawberry hibiscus. And you'll notice it has a pink ribbon on it. I'm actually going through, I have stage 4 breast cancer, and so it's been quite the journey this last couple of years. And when I created this bar, like I told you, it was delicious, but it just kind of, the color and everything just kind of reminded me of hope. I don't know, it's something about the flavors in it, just the strawberries and everything just brings me hope of summer, of happy times, of, I don't know how to explain that, but that's pretty it. And so I called it the Hope Bar, and I wrote a little bit of my story in the bar with the idea that because a lot of people that come into my shop, they want to do something, you know, to support us and to encourage me. Or, to be honest, a lot of us have people in our own lives that are going through, we all know somebody, almost everybody will know someone who has cancer diagnosis or going through hard times in their life. We all do. And I wanted some way that, that I could connect with people and offer hope. Or if you bought this bar, you could give it to someone that you know that just needs some hope in their lives. And I have a Facebook page where I talk about my journey, and that's listed on the little flyer inside. And so it's really special to me to be able to offer that to people as just a connection. That goes back to what I was sharing with how we like to hospitality, we like to serve, we like to be there for people. And that's a way of extending not just chocolate. It's about offering people something that can make a difference in their life. So that was pretty special to me.
Yeah. And, you know, I appreciate the way you use chocolate as a vehicle to connect and to assist people in establishing those relationships and, you know, instilling that sense of hope and encouragement for individuals. And I think that's something that sadly is missing these days. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, it's dear to my heart. But yeah.
Well, I know that we've been talking about Creo, and have there been any non-Creo bars that have inspired you, perhaps? You know, just anything in particular that has impacted you in some way?
Yeah, for sure. There's when we got into before we got into chocolate as a business, we were eating a lot of chocolate from other companies, and even now we do too. We buy chocolate all the time from other companies, not only to support them, but to get ideas and to see where, you know, what people are doing. So one that has really made a difference to us has been the company called Fruition, and they're back in New York. And Brian is a genius with flavor combinations. He really is. He's a pastry chef, gone chocolate maker. And his combinations have been inspiring. But not only that, again, we go back to mouthfeel. And I said that's really important to us. He has great mouthfeel. He has a nice balance in his roast. So I really, really appreciate that company a lot. So, yeah, that'd be one I would definitely check out.
You had mentioned that it's important for your company to use all aspects of the bean, not just to make chocolate, but you know, to use everything. And as a result, that has been the result of your skincare line. A lot of people don't realize some of the additional benefits that chocolate may have. Can you share more about that and what led you down this path?
Oh, I'd be glad to. And I'll show you, this is my cocoa whipped body butter. Now, it's something I've been making for a really long time, for years. But finally my friend said, and so when are you going to start letting us have some of this? But the cocoa butter, it has a lot of nutrition to it. So, for instance, it's a good fat, gives a protective barrier to the moisture in your skin. And I put it on my skin every single day. I just love the feel of it. But it's a protective barrier that keeps the moisture in, which is really nice, which is part of the controlling of the wrinkles if that bothers you, or just keeping it plump and has a nice texture to it, if that makes sense. It also it heals chapped skin, antioxidants, which fight against the free radicals that cause damage to your skin, and anti-inflammatory, which actually helps with scarring. So a lot of people who have scars will use it, from pregnancies, different things to help minimize. And the other benefit, I actually, because of my cancer, one of the best things I've done for my own self-care has been a massage. And I have a sweet friend who's a physical therapist that comes to my house every couple of weeks, and she gives me a full body massage.
Nice.
By cocoa butter. And oh my goodness, it's just like luxurious. And I actually have some people in Hawaii who we ship to, and they buy a lot of it for the same type of thing. My husband thinks that the massage with our cocoa butter is it. But those are some of the benefits of it, and I love it. We also have a lip balm that we make using our cocoa butter as well, and so it does the same things to your lips. It keeps them soft, and the chappedness, and from the wind and everything, it really helps a lot. Anyway, I'm so excited about this product. So whenever I can, I kind of toss it into people's bags or whatever, just because it's really, really fun to be able to use the whole product. The whole cacao bean as much as I can. So thank you for noticing that. Yeah.
Who wouldn't want that on them?
I know. And and the other thing is I don't put any fragrances in it. So it has the natural aromas. So you actually kind of smell like chocolate. And who doesn't want, I like that. I think my husband likes that. I don't know.
You'll be a pleasing aroma everywhere you go.
Everywhere I go.
Well, it's really exciting how you have just taken a bean and created so many things. I know that obviously the pandemic has, kind of thrown a curveball into everyone's plans. What do you envision for Creo's future?
Well, for one thing, right now we're working on, like I said, our website. We're working on creating more information for people to be educated. So that's huge. And so with the pandemic, we've had to kind of step back a little bit and come up with some ways that we can really, like I said, meet the needs in our community without doing our tours. So the education has been pretty huge. We're trying to serve people on the website. So we're making videos, like I said, and trying to make it more personal so people can really get to know us and the chocolate that they're purchasing. For us, it's more than just selling chocolate, though. It's really about serving, like I was saying. So people buy chocolate for so many different reasons. For celebrating, I think you mentioned that before. Also grieving. A lot of people coming in and getting chocolate just because they need a few moments, with something that doesn't ask a lot of questions, right? And also for people get chocolate to give to people who are having a hard time, people they know that just need a little pick-me-up. So I want to continue to be that kind of place for people. And that I see that continuing in the next year, 5 years. I don't want that to change at all. It's about making a product that people can connect with. That kind of makes sense. So that's what we see for the next few years. Like I said, we're working on a few ideas with different kind of flavor combinations with our truffles and things, but we never want to lose focus of the whole reason that we're here is really to serve and to be a bright light in our community, meeting people's needs.
This is just a side note for viewers. I know the inside of the packaging, Creos packaging, is really special because you have pictures of your family as well as the farmers, and it really provides a means for the consumer to connect with the people that are involved in the entire process from the very start to the finish of the actual product. And I know that's something that I appreciate, the way that you make a concerted effort to connect in different ways with people. And so it's really wonderful to hear the background to that, and then to see it. So those of you who are watching, make sure to get a bar so you can see the inside of their packaging to see what
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's for sure. I when I get other people's bars and I see it empty on the inside, it's like, you wasted all this great space. You could have shown a whole bunch of really fun pictures, but then that's us. We want to have people connect, just like what you were saying. And I love that too.
Well, tell us, what is it that you want people to take away from our time together? I know that there is the continuous theme of connecting and finding a way to give back. Anything else that you would like people to take away with?
I think the main thing is I want people to be able to connect with the heart of our company. We're just real people. It's my husband, my son, and I. We're, small company, real people trying to make real chocolate with just basic ingredients, in order to make a real difference in our world wherever we can. That's really our heart, and that's what I want people to be able to take away from this conversation. Is we're not a big, huge company. We actually, like a Hershey's or something. We hand make every single bar, every single truffle, everything that happens here. I want people to be able to see that as something pretty special. I mean, it's something we put a lot of love and thought into. All the packaging, every one of these bars is packaged by hand. So I have some friends that come and we have work parties, and they'll help package up bars. My little daughter, who's 19 with Down syndrome, she's part of that team. Love having her part of that, and that's that connection. I think is pretty key, and also whenever you order something from our online store, I try to write a note as much as I can onto each order. I have my daughter, let's just describing to you, she puts together every single box and puts together all the ingredients, and everything goes into it. So it's really a family business, and I hope that people can connect with that and hear the real heart of our business and the ways that we want to serve people.
Well, you definitely do, and I'm so grateful for that. So thank you so much for your time, Janet. Creo is such a special company, and I just look forward to how it is that you'll continue to make inways in your community, and how this will have a much more global impact.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate being here and being able to share our story, and appreciate that.
Thank you.